They come to the palaces, seek blessings, permission, and by the time they're there, we don't get to see a reflection of some agitation for their people.
No, I think you will begin to see that. You've invited me here now, and I've just told you what happens in our local government. I think if you do that with other places, you'll be surprised what is going on. But I tell you that we do that regularly, and they come. And if they have cause not to be able to come, they send an official letter, getting another date, and then we take them up and we ask them what is happening, why are you doing this? Even we sometimes have cause to mediate when the council chairman have issues with legislators.
Do you think that respect for the traditional stool is waning?
Well, that's a tough one. I think generally that we won't begin to discuss what's happening generally all over Nigeria. To a certain extent, maybe you are right, but I also think this is part of the price we have to pay for, development and modernization. But those of us that have self-respect, because respect begets respect. If you respect yourself, you respect your people, I think you'll get it back. But if you are not bad, that you are found in funny places, then you have yourself to blame. I have no question about what is happening in Ijebu land, and we're all very, very happy, all of us.
Because one of the things I noticed, when Chamberlain asked you about, the roles of Oba and whether or not you should have a constitutional role, which you largely agreed with.
No.
But some people will say that from what we have seen, can Obas or traditional rulers really justify their asking for that, considering the fact that some of them have abused your stools?
That one is neither here nor there. I begin to ask you, can you mention one particular one that have abused this tool?
No, we saw what happened in Ogun State, where the Deji of Ondo land, was involved in some domestic violence. It was so embarrassing that the governor had to, depose him, as it were, and appoint somebody else.
But it's an issue that we don't really agree with. That's an issue that we really don't agree with. Because, yes, it's neither here nor there. None of us were there. And when allegations are made, it's also needed to be. But I don't speak for the Oba that was involved in Ondo. I'm just talking about natural relationship that we have and respect for this tool. Nigerians naturally love tradition. I know about Ososa. It is fantastic. I can tell you precisely that sometimes I'm an envy of other Obas. You need to see how people respect their Oba in Ososa, how people regard their Oba, how people love their Oba in Ososa, and you will be very, very happy. But then you cannot say that that is what happens all over the country, just like every other thing. And I believe that as long as the people do the right thing, if it's not just Obaship stools alone, but like it is all over the world. If you get in an office, anything that is not duly yours, then you definitely must expect to pay the price.
Do they consult you most of the times? I'm talking about politicians, especially those in the grassroots, councillors, supervisory councillors, and chairmen.
We are hoping they will continue to do that. This is part of the education that we are talking about. When they want to go to the office, they come, they ask for prayers, they ask for blessings, because they are our sons and daughters. We cannot begin to say no, because the electorate are still going to decide. But when they get into the office, we are hoping that they'll begin to understand that, as a matter of fact, I have a policy, and I've always said this when people listen. Governance is usually bottom up. If you do that, you'll never fail. It's very easy to go back to a community, even a councillor, and say, look, we are discussing at the council. What is it that you people want? If my councillor, for instance, from Ososa, say he doesn't know that in Ososa we need good road, there's particular one place that if anybody comes to there and tie it, forget it. He's going to next office. We're going to vote you. So all they need to do is go back to their people. If the council chairman wants to bring an health center, for instance, they say, we don't need it. The one that we have is underutilized. So people need to go back to their various background to ask what people need. The same thing applies to health, education. You just don't come and say because there's a vacant land and begin to do a big school, when even the ones we have are not good enough, because you could just repair all that from repair the roofs, the classroom, the floors, put good chairs and all the old benches that we sat on when I was in primary school. That's still what you find in some primary schools.
There must be some kind of communication between those in political offices and the people regularly, so that they can know what they need and what they want.
That's just what I'm saying. You go to the office, you have already an idea of what my people want. You make sure before you leave the office, it is done. If not 100%, 50%.
Now, do you know that they also say that Obas, traditional rulers, need to be apolitical, not belong to any political party. But how do you get your voices heard when you are dissatisfied with the way government has been run in a particular area without sounding as if you're partisan?
Yeah, that's true. First, we have what we call, I just told you about us in the local government, that we have regular meetings. Even at the state level, we have regular meetings with the governor. I can tell you this because I have 4 paramount rulers. I have regular meetings with the governor, and once in a quarter we have what we call Ogun State Council of Obas meeting. And these are issues that I will discuss there, and will let the government know what the people are feeling, how they are feeling. I think there could be more fora for this. It can never be enough, but you also have to bear in mind that government is a very serious business. I won't want to serve in government again.
Why not?
Yeah, well, because really, even when you are putting your best, you find it difficult to get people to agree that you've done your best. So it's really very difficult. I always tell people, no amount of money they pay me, I won't be a governor. As a traditional ruler, you're doing it, you are really within yourself. You are acting naturally. You love what you're doing, and you are not under any pressure. You are not looking to be returned to the office in another 4 years. So then so it's really a very tough thing.
Would you like to participate in this national conference?
Somebody called me yesterday and said from Abuja, one of my sons, and said, Kabesi, we would love for you to. I said, look, this is the responsibility of our royal father. His paramount, His Royal Majesty, the paramount ruler of Ijebuland. If Alatishe asked me to go, I'll be the first person there.
What would you be telling them if you were there? What kind of issues would you raise?
But some of the things we've discussed today, basically, that governance should be bottom up in everything, education, health-wise, everything. And seriously speaking, it will sort out a lot of problems. Even in the modern democracies that we're talking about, it is bottom up. Just bottom up. The representatives of the people are hard. And when the president is making high-valuing speeches, believe you me, it is from the contributions of the representatives of his areas.
Wow. All right, interesting conversations, but that's where we have to let it go. We thank you for coming in this morning. Dr. Adetoye Alatishe is the Gbegande of Ososa. Thank you for coming on this morning.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Nice to have you, Kabiyesi.
Good to see you.